This is an opportunity to open our eyes, to worship with our eyes open, and to reflect during the seasons of creation the delight of being human. I want your eyes to flutter and your spine to tingle, and to be reminded that as we see the things around us, we are reminded that we are a creature, that we do not find ourselves having mastered creation or being on some great pinnacle of understanding, but we ourselves are part of that which we look at. We are immersed each day in the touch of creation, the wind on our face, the touch on our skin, what we eat and what we consume, and how we live and produce in this world. We are a part of the web of creation. It's a dance and a delight which invigorates our life and causes us to wonder and experience the fear and delight of the forces around us. So it's an opportunity perhaps to open our eyes to the richness of the world in which we are placed, and to find that wisdom with humility. These works are sensuous. They touch the capacity of our eyes, which act like a hand. When we look at something, we imagine what it feels like, the texture of the surface. Even before we begin to touch something, we're already beginning to taste with delight or fear that which we interact with. Our eyes have this capacity to lean out into creation and return things touch us. They impact on our emotions, our sensuous awareness. We are but creatures in this moving, shifting elements of creation. So I trust these works bring that sense of delight in this season where we find ourselves in the rhythm of creation. But they also remind us that we are part of God's order of incarnation, that we are made flesh, and that flesh is good. To wake up in that moment in our own skin and be everything we imagine it to be. This is enough. To be in my skin, to know who I am, to be able to affirm my edges and to stretch out in whatever space I can take up, and for it to be good, enough, welcome, and for others to see that and affirm it as well. In all the readings this morning, there were references to bodies that are clean and unclean, bodies that are sensuous and alluring, that draw us in. What is clean, what is unclean? For many of us, religion has been an instrument of precision, of demarcation, of laying out what is correct, what is good, what is bad, what is rational, what is emotional, what is male, what is female, what is white, what is black. And many of us carry in our flesh the wounds of those demarcations because we have been run over by religion that seeks to build like an empire of correctitude that crushes human beings under the wheels of injustice. And so these works perhaps have a secondary sense of disturbance. These are the things that I was thinking about over the last 6 months as I created them. And I think it's also a self-portrait or a portrait of my understanding and experience of Pitt Street. Because you have been a place that has welcomed and allowed people to thrive, where justice has been coupled with this deep erotic humanity that we have to work for pleasure, not only for ourselves, but for others, to do good and to be good in the world. And so these works, as I thought about them, are inherently queer. They query the order of things. They dismantle those precise decisions to place people in neat boxes and allow the messiness and I think also the playfulness of things to be. Where do we discover more about ourselves when we fail and play and experience the permission to be than in getting things right the first time around? So these are the things that I was thinking about in terms of producing these works. My particular skills and talents may fail the eloquence of my words, but these are the things that nourish my flesh and give me purpose and a sense of empowerment. 10 paintings which punctuate these wonderful bays around the church. They feel like they've pushed the walls out a little bit. They resonate back and forth, pairs of works that look familiar, these cloudy, gaseous spaces of sky and delight. Do we not need spaces in our lives where we incubate and allow for messiness and opportunity for things to thrive and work out who they are without being corralled and judged? And so these works, for me, have been a meditation on the opportunity to expand and to be and to play. And then these 4 kind of more mystical, contemplative works of this circular form, which just pull my eye in and out and create a sense of delight. What a relief from Photoshop and telephones and mobile phones to have some images that have got some breath and space in them to find that relief of being mesmerised, that joy we find when we look. And we've lost all sense of time and purpose and measurement and needing to be somewhere in some place, that moment of reverie. The French use that word where you're just as if you were one with the thing that you are looking at, that simple sense of wonder. These works remind me of the rapture of being alive. The Christian affirmation of one of our great creeds says, the glory of God is a person fully alive. And that is our joy as an icon of God's grace to live out in every fumbling step we have in the capacity of our humanity to be that, to see in the mirror something beautiful, something spectacular, unusual, quirky, and wonderful that carries the grace of God. These works also carry wounds, these 2 big works, and it reminded me as I kind of celebrate the capacity of skin to be the communion of touch between human beings and creation, that we all carry wounds, this unique calligraphy that marks our lives for the things we have borne and got our fingers burnt and fall over or knocked over by cars or whatever it is in terms of our injuries and our pain. But that's also the spaces in which we are flooded by God's grace, that tingling capacity to know kindness and grace. And here behind the pulpit, tucked away, are 5 small little works which caught my eye as I was travelling in Europe. This beautiful ivory depiction of the crucifixion of Christ, this small, beautiful, delicate figure in absolute agony, with the stomach very bowled out in as if that figure is just expanding its last breath. And as I looked at that, I saw more like a seed. So these are seed-bearer figures where Christ carries in Christ's belly a seed, a pregnant sense of hope and opportunity. My hope is these works will delight your eye, make you shiver a little, deepen your own appreciation of God's grace in your life and every breath that we breathe, that it may richly affirm the deep connection in this place between justice and eros, the capacity to care on behalf of others, and that you may, in your shoes and your breathing, know that the glory of God is a person fully alive.